All right, welcome back to another Crypto Vagabonds Crypto Talk. Today we're going to talk about XDeFi, which is a different wallet. And you guys are going to figure out what it's for and what it does and why it's important on this presentation. Sorry about the delay. I think we are about 8 minutes late due to my technical problems trying to adapt to a new environment as I'm traveling on a motorcycle. So without any further ado, since we're already late, let me just begin sharing my screen with you guys and jump straight into it. So thank you for asking for my password again, Max. You make my life much easier. Now, as every presentation here at Crypto Vagabonds, we need to begin with a disclaimer. And the disclaimer is the following. Everything we do here is for informational and educational purpose only. Nothing that we do at any of the platforms of Crypto Vagabonds Academy or any Crypto Vagabonds group is for tax or financial advice. Everything is educational and entertainment purpose only. So with that being said, this Crypto Talk occurs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. CEST. And if this is your first time here, you're going to be receiving a link where you're going to be able to book a call with me. And the call is going to be about 30 minutes. And that call, we're going to try to find the best way to add value to you and your financial life and your crypto life. You can also find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and obviously in Clubhouse, Monday to Friday. Now, again, no financial, no tax advice here, only entertainment and educational information. So everyone at the crypto space has some kind of specialty. My specialty, I'm known as the risk-averse guy. And that's because I have one law that I abide by. If there's a doubt, there is no doubt. And what that means is if I do have a doubt, there's no doubt I'm not moving forward with investment. So today we're going to be talking about XDeFi Wallet. And it is symbolized by a little octopus, which is, this is the icon right here. And if you do not know what it is, I highly recommend you trying to interact with it now. So let's go and see what it is. So XDeFi Wallet, what it is, what does it do, and why is important. Now, what is it? As I already mentioned, it is DeFi wallet, but different than other DeFi wallets, it is a cross-chain browser wallet. What it means cross-chain? That means interacts with different blockchains and function as a hub, allowing you to exchange assets between one blockchain and another blockchain using the wallet as a hub or a bridge between blockchains. So I already mentioned a little bit of what it does. And one other thing which it does is it also enables you to store your NFTs. So you can store, you can swap, you can send, receive crypto and NFTs across 15 different blockchains. That's pretty much what the XDeFi wallet does. And obviously, that makes it a strong competitor to Metamasks. So that is what the wallet does. And why is it important? Well, the first reason why it's important is because it is a competition for Metamask. So that kind of prevents monopoly. But also, it is considered to be the world's fastest DeFi and NFT wallet. So far, no other DeFi or NFT wallet is as fast as XDeFi. So that's one reason why a lot of people think it's important. I believe it's important because it offers an option to Metamask, offering competition and eliminating the chance of one single monopoly.
Yeah. Like
also, it is the simplest and the easiest way to engage with Web3. If you guys are in the crypto space, you must have heard of Web3. So the wallet allows and enables you to engage with the Web3 space. So those are the reasons why it is important, a few of them. Another one is one place, is one wallet where you can have pretty much everything and NFTs. So once you have 15 different blockchains and NFTs, the likelihood of this wallet allowing you to interact with any space on the crypto space is very large. Now, it also has the possibility to be locked or secure with a cold storage. So far, where it is not there yet enabled with Trezor, it only allows Ledger. Of course, if you are here with us, or if you came to any of our talks, eventually you're going to hear saying that we don't really endorse Ledger, but it's better than having no hard wallet as in the first place. So Ledger so far is the only one. If you do go to the X wallet, you see the icon for Trezor in gray, which means is on the coming. So very soon we're going to be able to interact with the Trezor. You can either wait or already start to interact with it with your Ledger. If you do want to interact with any wallet or have any crypto, not your keys, not your coins, so having a Ledger is better than nothing. So do not interact with it unless you have a hardware device. And with that being said, I will yield my mic and hand the floor to you guys. Remember, here at Crypto Vagabonds, you can get you extra education, also crypto coaching, and on the 30th, we're gonna be launching our academy live. Remember, October 30th, the Crypto Vagabonds Academy goes live. It has been 1.5 years in the making. So if you are interested, stay tuned. There will be links in which you'll be able to interact with our academy. And now it's time for me to handle the floor to you guys and hear your questions on the Q&A. That was it.
Hello,
so
hello,
far.
both. Rodrigo
Hello,
here.
Rodrigo. Yes.
How are you?
Excellent. We had a wonderful conversation yesterday, Rodrigo.
Yes, was very nice.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the time.
No,
I have
thank you.
I have a question here for you. This wallet is similar as MetaMask, correct? So you are the owner of your tokens, okay? Correct? What's the
Yes,
difference?
if you do.
Mm.
So go ahead. I cut you off. Sorry, go ahead.
What's the difference if you leave your Bitcoins or Ethereum in that wallet, or you leave the Bitcoin or Ethereum on an exchange like Binance or any other one out there? What's the difference, to keep your cryptocurrency in a wallet like this one, or keep your money, your cryptocurrency on an exchange? Can you explain that to us, please?
Yes. So in the crypto space, we have 3 different kinds of wallets, okay? And we call them custodial, non-custodial, and share custody. So when you have crypto on an exchange, you don't have any crypto because it has already happened. Mt. Gox was one example. Quadriga X was another example. Any exchange, they do not need to have the assets that they are selling to you. Some research have suggest that about 60 to 70% of all Bitcoin is fake, is false. How is that possible? When you go to an exchange, let's say Coinbase, FTX, KuCoin, any exchange, Binance, and you buy, let's say, 1 BTC, the exchange does not need to have that BTC in order to sell it to you because they just put numbers on a screen. So when you have any crypto on exchange, you don't have crypto. You have the promise that that exchange will eventually be able to provide you that asset. And it's very common if you interact long enough with exchanges that at one point when you try to withdraw your funds, they say we are under maintenance, we are under maintenance for 12 hours, we are under maintenance for 48 hours. They're not really under maintenance. They are trying to acquire the assets that you're trying to withdraw because they don't have it. So an exchange is no way that you can say I have BTC on Coinbase or I have BTC on FTX. You're never going to have crypto if that crypto is on an exchange. And if you have any doubts about that, go to Netflix and watch a documentary called Trust No One, and you see what I'm talking about. So once you believe to have something on exchange, you have nothing. So the exchange is called custodial storage or custodian wallet. They don't need to have it. They just put numbers on the screen and they make you pretend, they make you believe that they may have it. Now, the second possibility would be an application or a software such as XDeFi, Metamask, I don't know, Wallet of Satoshi, Edge, which used to be called Airbit. So if you have an app on your phone or a desktop wallet such as Exodus or XDeFi, now we're talking about shared custody wallet. And what does that mean? That means that the software and you have ownership over the asset. And why I say the software and you, because if you have an app on your phone and let's say I hack your phone and your software has custody shared with you, I can now have those assets to be mine. So that's the difference between the two. Now, if you notice, I emphasize very strongly that if you interact with XDeFi or Metamask, you do that via a hardware device. Now, when you have a hardware device, that means you are the only custodian of the assets, and you're just using the app, which normally would be by default share custody. You are removing the custody from the app and leaving that custody solely on your hands. And that's one issue that actually, after I talked to you yesterday, I was going to talk to you about, because of the platform that you're building, to make sure that all the users are instructed, or at least kind of emphasize the importance of having a hardware wallet. When you put a hardware wallet with MetaMask or XDeFi or any other Exodus or any other share custody application, you remove the custody from the application, and now you have solely under your custody. And that is the first law of cryptocurrencies, not your keys, not your coins, meaning now you have all the keys and the app no longer have the keys, which means if someone hacks your computer or hacks your phone, because there's no shared custody with the application, there's nothing that can be taken from you. Did that make sense?
Yes, totally. Thank you very much.
Yeah. If you guys do, that's a very brilliant question from Rodrigo. I had a conversation with Rodrigo yesterday about an hour, and he's working some very interesting software. I'm not going to mention what it is here, but I was very impressed with how much he could achieve in 6 months of coding. He's a programmer, a coder, and he's building some solutions, I'll say, on Web3 or in the crypto space. Really great job, Rodrigo. We're going to bring you here to present your project in the future, though. Fantastic work.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, that's a project that is actually trying to, resolve a problem that we have today. There's not like any project that's just out there for people, to trade. We're trying to solve a real problem for the real world. So this will be my pleasure to present here when the project goes live, probably in a couple months, probably.
Yeah. On that note, Marcus, I'm going to bring him to one of our Friday meetings so we can talk about what he's doing, though. It's a very beautiful work. Keep up to it, Rodrigo. Matt, what is your question?
Just trying to get a better understanding of how it all works. So I will try and ask a clear question or describe my view on it and tell me if I'm miles off. But so cryptocurrency, so let's say for example, Bitcoin, it lives on the blockchain. So when we're moving it as such from exchange to hardware wallet, we're not taking it off the blockchain, are we? It still remains on the blockchain. So then so it's having access to that part of the blockchain, which is what makes it ours. Is that correct? So like you say about the not your keys. So I have the keys which will enable me access to that section of the blockchain. But whilst that Bitcoin is in an exchange, well, it's not in an exchange because it's still on the blockchain, but now that exchange has also got access to that part of the blockchain. Is that correct?
Okay, I can see where you're going, and I'm gonna give an answer, given, well, because I know it's a very complex question to be able to formulate it. So I'm gonna try to answer, and you tell me if I'm answering your question. So the blockchain is a database, right? So I'm gonna explain two metaphors, and I think if you merge the two metaphors, you understand what happens. So first metaphor, let's use something which you already know. Okay, so for instance, I believe everyone here has a bank account card, right? Which is something similar to this, but this, of course, is my hotel key. But if you have a card, the card has a microchip, and when you go to a supermarket, or let's use supermarkets, when you go to supermarket and you make a purchase, you are actually telling the blockchain or the database of the bank to move funds from your account to somebody else's account. Like on your card, if I slice it, in non-slices, I'm never going to find any money. All I'm going to find is plastic and some microchips, which means there's no money on your card. What is on your card is an ability to unlock and to have the authority to move funds. If I have your bank card, I can do the same as if I was you. So you have no authority over that database. The card has authority on that specific database, right? Anyone that you give the card and the PIN number will have authority to say, take this amount of funds, assuming you have that available, and move to another account. Makes sense so far? So the difference is, on your bank card, the issuer is not even the bank, it's a company that the bank hires, and you have no clue how to alter that microchip. You have no clue if something happens to your card, what to do with it. You need to call the bank. The bank's gonna notify the third-party agency, and the third-party agency is gonna send a card to the bank, and the bank's gonna send that to you. But you have zero ability to do anything with that card, except maybe changing the password if the bank authorizes you. In some cards, you're not even able to do that. Now, your hardware wallet takes place of your card. The difference is you are totally in control. You can reprogram that card, you can change the PIN, you can change the seed phrase or whatever. So the keys that we say, it is that which enables you to move funds, right? Now, that is the first metaphor. The second metaphor, let's think about a robot dog, okay? You have seen some AI and some androids and some robots that are near to human. And if you look at those movies, you're gonna see that the robot takes orders from one person and one person only. And then the robot may decide second level of authority, third level, but the first level is just one person, right? If you watch some series or some movies, the android obeys one person. So now let's pretend BTC is this android dog. And at one point, the dog say, you, Matt, are the only person that I obey, right? Now, the day Matt is no longer there, Matt goes on a trip and he spends 100 years traveling the galaxy and then come back. For those 100 years, that dog is going to stay put and stay still, and no one else is going to be able to give any orders to that particular android dog. That is cryptocurrencies. So it's an android that belongs to a network or a database. The database tells the dog what to do, what not to do, but the authority lies on the hands of whoever has that hardware device, or the person who has the seed phrase that creates the code that the dog recognizes as the highest authority. And that dog then is any unit of cryptocurrency. Did that make sense to?
Yes, it's clear. It's clearer. I mean, it is complicated, obviously, and I think it's just spending time with it to just allow your brain to sort of put two and two together and get an understanding of it.
But do you feel like I answered your question? What was that the question you had, Matt?
Yeah. Because it wasn't really a question. It was more of a just, am I looking at it correctly? Am I viewing it right? And I feel I am, and I'm getting closer and closer to understanding that it's the way it is, because it's not like picking up currency and moving it from one place to another, because it's not possible. It's not a physical thing anyway. You're never removing it from the blockchain. It's more about having access to that part of the blockchain or
control. I would say control is a better word.
Okay.
Yeah, because access, anyone has it. Anyone can see the balance. Anyone can see where the balance came from. So everyone has the access to audit, but the ability to control, which is to say you move from here and you go to that address, or to that account, that is
that makes more sense. Yeah.
So is this the way you are? And I don't know if you notice, like, a lot of people may be listening to this and they have never thought of, not even their money from their bank account ever lives like on their card. Like, it is on a database, and they just say move this to there. So now money is not going from you to the supermarket. It's literally numbers from this account to that account. And if you look from like blockchain being a database, the same way that your commercial bank is a centralized database, then it starts to make sense. I love what Fuzzy contributes to this conversation. You want to say, or should I just read what you wrote here, Fuzzy? I think
so
maybe
I was having problems finding the mic. I've got so many more options at the bottom now than you ever used to. Yeah, let me read what I wrote. Firstly, I was asking if Rodrigo had a Twitter or Rodrigo, a Medium, because I like to follow him. And then I added, it's a very new way of thinking. So it's not so complicated once you get your head around it. But we are trained to think in the ways our current system works. And even then, many of us don't fully know how the banking systems work because we're not taught it. So like for me, it's like Web3 and blockchain, once you kind of get around the verbiage, once you understand the terms, it's actually like not complicated at all, actually. I mean, I'm not going to be a developer. I'm never going to learn coding, but I understand enough to use a wallet now after 2 years.
After 2 years and some mistake and losses. That is like the price for tuition, right? But I want to say something which an expression from Rodrigo. Like, we had a 1 hour conversation yesterday, I think about an hour, and he used an expression to describe himself, which I found very beautiful. He said, I was, until quite recently, a financial illiterate person. I found that a very beautiful way to him describe himself, though.
I would agree with that. I mean, I'm still fairly illiterate, but I'm less illiterate as I was before. I need to dive into your academy materials more to be much more literate.
Oh, thank you, Fuzzy. Maria, you raised your hand. Go for it, Maria.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, I've learned so much since February when I started with you, Biff. But our system is using this system, so it isn't that foreign. We just don't understand that our money is on a ledger, right? And all it is debit credit. It just moves from place to place. So when they're talking about these billions of dollars that everyone, like the countries are in debt for, all they have to do is wipe out the ledger and start all over again. So it's not that foreign. I mean, just because we don't understand it, and when I was thinking and learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I had to, and I think you helped me out with that, Boof. I had to think about in our terms that we understand in our banking system or how we handle money. But basically, it's where it is the blockchain is the ledger, and it debits or credits our accounts as we purchase it, right? And then, like you were saying with the card, we have our debit cards, the same thing. We just go and use it. I mean, I'm not literally moving my money to them. It's the number from my bank that goes to them. It's, again, no one touches that. It's just a numbers game. So, I mean, when you understand that, then it's not that foreign because it's happening all the time. We're just not told how it works. And when I was a little girl, I was starting to save money. I had a savings account like I was 10 years old. So I actually went and took my money in there, and I thought that's where it was. It was all along on a ledger. And that's why you need to let the bank know if I want to go and take out $2,000 or $3,000 or more. They say, let me know the day before, because then they'll actually have the money in the bank. That's when they transfer what's on the ledger into actual assets that I can see and touch, which is the dollars and cents. Not that
that's beautiful. And I think the right terminology for it is ledger money. And we have been using ledger money for over thousands of years. Ledger money has been actually the very first forms of money that we had was ledger money, and then we had precious metal, and then sometime along the road the expansion, so to speak, of the expansion of the adoption of ledger money grew again. But initially was all ledger money, then became like precious metal commodity money, and then that kind of overtook the space of ledger money. Then eventually ledger money expanded and got more adopted than commodity money. So yeah, now we have BTC, which is this like weird thing, which is like commodity ledger money, which is a commodity that only exists on the ledger. Yeah,
interesting. They were doing that in the Middle Ages. That they had, and I don't think they were the Teutonic Knights, but the knights there, they became the bankers of the world. And so they would get the money from the king, and then they would give them a piece of paper. That was happening already in the Middle Ages, where they were given like a credit, right? And they could travel with that credit note to Jerusalem, and they would switch it over into actual money at that time, because otherwise they would be robbed on their way. They would be robbed on the way by all these bandits. So if you had gold or silver on you, they could steal it from you. But if you had paper, you had to know how to even hide the paper. Then you didn't have anything worth them stealing from, but you actually had it on the paper. You had a paper, you went over there, and they just changed it over into gold, silver, cash, whatever it was. So it was starting in the Middle Ages. And myself, I use a lot of barter. I mean, that's another way people use money, right? Just bartering between each other. So money is never changed over. It's just one product for another product. And there are barter exchanges that I belonged to like for 30 years, where that's how I built my wealth when I first started my business. Was I was bartering, and I belonged to 8 barter exchanges. So I bartered like my bed and breakfast. I bartered it for something else, like maybe going on a trip to Florida, which I didn't cost me anything, because I had bartered my services. They had it on a bank account, like their ledger. No, again, no money was exchanged. It was just numbers. And I was able to use my barter for buying jewelry, whatever I wanted to do with it. So it was just kind of interesting that we're back to that system. We never left it, actually.
Yeah, I think further just talk about the possibility of talking maybe in Clubhouse about bartering. And on the barter idea, there is a lot of people underestimate the power of barter. And to me, the most fascinating story of barter that I can share with you guys, and I highly recommend you to search and find a page, is called One Red Paperclip. And what is one red paperclip? Is literally a red paperclip that a guy took, and he managed to barter that paperclip within a year, and 16 exchanges. He managed to transform that paperclip into a house. So he acquired a real estate within a year, bartering a paperclip into a house in 16 different exchanges. So he first got a paperclip, exchanged for I think a pen or a pencil, and then the pen and pencil became a doorknob, which was already the first portion of the house. And he kept on doing it. And 16 exchanges later, and less than a year, he managed to transform one single paperclip into a home. And he documented all the exchanges on the barter. So barter is a very powerful thing, though. I think we should make a room about that. Thank you, Fuzzy, for the suggestion. All right. I wonder if there's any more questions, any more comments on this, or any other subject that you guys may have. Okay, I think Rodrigo got a few folders. I'm gonna send you the check later, Rodrigo, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna charge you, I don't know, maybe at a tapioca or uma paçoca.
Perfect. Yeah, I don't use a lot Twitter, social media, because I focus a lot on what I'm doing. But right now, as soon as I launch my product, I should take care more about the social media.
If you have to choose one social media, I have to say to you, Clubhouse, though. Clubhouse is incredibly powerful.
Yes, you mentioned that yesterday.
So it's gonna be, go ahead.
No, I have a question, but it doesn't have anything to do with today's topic.
No problem. Ask Evelyn.
I'm observing that Bitcoin's price is going up in spite of everything in the economy that's occurring and what's to come in early November with the Feds. What do you attribute that phenomenon to?
4-letter, CBDC. I think the acceleration of many governments around the world, I think the G7 are getting together. The new Prime Minister of UK announced that they are accelerating or fast tracking the process of central bank digital currencies. And there is a level of awareness that, I'll put it this way, if you have in one end, you have central bank digital currency, and you try to think what is on the exactly opposite on the spectrum, that would be BTC. I would say BTC is not, I should rephrase that, BTC wouldn't be all the way on the furthest end of the spectrum. I would say some privacy coin can supersede the level of protection that you can have when the central bank digital currencies come into play, because central bank digital currencies allow for total control. BTC allows for no control, but allows for a lot of transparency, which doesn't give you so much privacy. I would say BTC and privacy coins are on the other end. I wouldn't be surprised if the further they move with the central bank digital currencies agenda, the more BTC and privacy coins increase in value. I think eventually people are going to realize that BTC is not the best protection, but some privacy coin offers certain benefits. So that is what I believe to be the one contributor. Another contributor is smart money do things first, and then smart money moves in first, and non-sophisticated money moves in afterwards. So I think the possibility of the Federal Reserve increasing more interest rates in November, the market already priced in some weeks or like 30 days ago, and now it is non-sophisticated money moving to things. And I'll say the sophisticated money is moving in because they start to see the acceleration on central bank digital currencies. That will be my bet. Of course, not 100% of the price action is because of central bank digital currency, but I'll say is the main player. I think you were in the room this morning when we talk about central bank digital currencies in Clubhouse, or you're not there this morning, Evelyn?
No, I couldn't make it.
We'll be talking about that again Friday, so if you want to join us. But I would say central bank digital currency is the greatest marketing for BTC.
Yeah, the other thing is, though, as I see that they're going that route, the regulations are also coming in at the same time, but that most of the regulations are not favorable, in my opinion.
I think what's happening now between the US and UK, and I could be wrong, but given the information that I have until now, and I may change this perspective the more information I acquire. Maybe over the weekend I should do some very good research. But it seems to me that what we have now with this new technology is the opposite of what happened in the past. So when the automobile industry came into play, UK had very strong negative regulations to the automobile industry, and then that industry migrates to the US so much that the big three, which is the biggest car manufacturers in the globe after the financial crisis, was in the US. Now, I think roles were being reversed in this new innovation. It seems to me that there's a possibility that UK is going to be having more friendly regulations when compared to the US. And I think the US is having a very averse and very non-friendly regulations because they see as a threat to the power that they have with the US dollar being the global reserve currency. So I kind of, again, this keeps changing. I mean, I think the entire world is changing very rapidly. Like in a matter of weeks, we had, I don't know, 2 or 3 different prime ministers in UK. We have the change of kingdom. So these things change really fast. If this guy remains in power in the UK, it seems like UK is going to have more friendly regulations towards crypto, not as friendly as we desire, but friendlier than the US. And on that note, for everyone who's listening to this, or maybe be listening to this in the future on a recording, we have a company that I start with Marcus, myself, and Mia is kind of there as well. We starting and Mustafa. So we starting this company called the Sovereign Vagabonds, where we are precisely addressing issues such as this, like, what if you are someone who has crypto and you happen to be in a less friendly environment? How can you benefit from other friendly environments for your assets, for yourself? So you can contact us. But I think we are already talking on those terms, you and I, and so the more time goes by, the more unfriendly it becomes, because we go through phases. Every single innovation goes through certain phases. And the phase 1 is, first they ignore us, then they ridicule us, then they fight us, and then we win. We are at the fight stage, and at the same time facing a depression. I don't believe a recession anymore. I believe it's going to be a depression and World War III. So a lot of things are happening simultaneously. We are, like I say, in terms of crypto space, we are at war. in the middle of the biggest storm in the sea. So we have to defend from the storm, which is the economical depression. Plus, we have to deal with regulations not being as friendly. But there are some countries that are seeing the possibility of benefiting from having better, friendlier regulations into this ecosystem. I wonder if Marcos want to say something else to add to that.
Yeah. I mean, we're busy trying to find the jurisdictions that are best accepting crypto and banking, and also looking at the regulations, especially for geography. We had a great call today with somebody that we met through Clubhouse and is already taking some steps and making moves. So I hope everyone will consider it if they feel that they need to do something. So yeah, please reach out if you have any questions. I'm sure everyone has some options. I know in the case of Evelyn, we could maybe talk about how there's a law for Puerto Rico and Spanish descendants to get residency in Spain. So, but I'm sure everyone has an option. So,
Yeah.
To us.
And the only way to find out if you're interested is like calling us, because it's amazing how every little detail changed the possibility and the spectrum completely. So it's a lot of variables to what is available, and only through a consultation conversation we can find at least which direction we may be going. And of course, as the process unfolds, we may find a new piece of information about you that allows you to take advantage of other things. So, and this space keeps changing constantly. And I would say if you are in North America, US and Canada, it is something that you may want to consider today, start to look at it, because things are shifting very fast, and that which is available this week may not be available next week. So let's keep that in mind. Anyone else? I think this is it for today. Just we're about 10 minutes to the hour, but I think if there's no more questions, we can call it a day and see you guys tomorrow at the Academy. Those who are members of the Academy, and those who are not in the Academy, I may see you tomorrow at Clubhouse. Rodrigo, I'm gonna send you an invitation to Clubhouse. That way, when you come in, they will know that you're not a robot, or it's kind of a little vault. So now that I have your number, I'm gonna send you to the American number an invitation to Clubhouse.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I think this is it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for your time. Again, time is the most precious of all commodities. And once you take your time to be here, it tells us that we are maybe doing the right thing. Maria, about our meeting, I'm finding more information along the week. I will contact you next week with it, okay?
Oh, wonderful. You know, I kind of thought it would take over a week. I didn't expect it to happen overnight, although you work so quickly. I just love that about you, but I understand. That's not a problem. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is it, guys. Thank you everyone for being here. See you guys on the next Crypto Talk, or tomorrow in Clubhouse, or tomorrow in the Academy, those who are members of the Academy. Appreciate you all. Mia, is there anything else we should add, or this is it? Luana, Mia, are we can call it a day and wrap it up?
Anybody has any more questions? Yeah.
No. So I think you're under control, so you can do the honors of. Yep.
Bye, everyone.
You guys, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you all.
Nice seeing you all. Bye-bye.